Planeswalkers, here's Diogo of the Blind Eternities, and today I'm very proud to bring to you our first standard deck, Grixis Control in Hour of Devastation. And just before we go to the deck list, it would be amazing of you if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like it. So just a reminder, we will be bringing to you new decks designed by our members in a way to support you to do the same. And fully experience Magic the Gathering, from the inspiration through the excitement of building your deck and then the realization of playing your own ideas, okay? Let's go to the deck list now. One copy of Gonti, Lord of Luxury, such a fancy name, is a very strategic card. It will get you information about their deck. You can steal a card that's very important for them, or a convenient card for you that will get them by surprise. And also is a very good blocker because of the Death Touch. 2 copies of the Scarab God. This card impressed me a lot. If you untap with this on the battlefield, things just go out of control. It's almost indestructible because you're going to be always recasting it unless it's exiled. And as instant speed for 4 mana, you will get a 4/4, getting basically full value of the copy. You get rid of a creature in the opponent's graveyard and you make them lose life, and you scry depending on the number of zombies you control. It's always a good deal. A 4/4 Threatened Spectre that gives you a clue, a 4/4 Glory Bound Initiate that hits for 7 lifelink, or you can even bring your own Gonti or Gearhulk from your graveyard to the battlefield and getting full value of this. 3 copies of Torrential Gearhulk, probably the best blue creature in Standard and underrated in Modern, and gives you so much value recasting your instants from their graveyard, like Glimmer, Unlicensed Disintegration, Disallow. And 2 copies of Daddy Bolas, Nicol Bolas, God Pharaoh. Nicol Bolas is a very well designed card. Not overpowerful, but powerful and dynamic. Hits the opponent hand, deals damage to the creature, planeswalker's opponent, and the best, you can cast the opponent cards for free with the +2 ability. And don't miss this. It is until end of turn, and even if it's a counter, you can hold it, do whatever you want, and if they try to stop you, you can just counter their own stuff with their own counter. And the -12 is very unlikely you're gonna be doing that. 3 copies of Fatal Push. It's a very good card at the beginning of the game. 3 copies of Harness Lightning. It's a very good removal, and at the beginning you can get rid of a small creature, stock some energy, and then kill a bigger creature later. We have Cut. It's sorcery speed, but it's 4 damage for 2 mana. And late game, when you kind of almost flooded, Rebounds can actually wins you game, because you can make the opponent lose a lot of life. So we're playing 1 copy of Consign to Oblivion. This card impressed me a lot. I'm playing that over Commit to Memory, because I never like to make the opponent draw 7 cards. And with Consign, the trick here is you return a permanent to the owner's hand, and then you can recast Oblivion with Torrential Gearhulk turn 6, so you get rid of 2 cards from the opponent's hand. And then if you have turn 7 Nicol Bolas, you hit 2 more cards, so they have no answers for you. The game probably is gonna be over. So we have 2 copies of Sweltering Suns. It's a very good small wrath. 1 copy of Unlicensed Disintegration, can kill like any creature, and if you have Torrential Gearhulk or recasting that with Torrential Gearhulk, you can deal 3 damage to opponent or 3 damage to the planeswalkers that they have. And we have 1 copy of Never to Return, like basically as Planeswalker Wrath, and you can recast it with the return to hit a possible zombie to not return to the battlefield, or another Torrential Gearhulk targets from the opponent. And one copy of Hour of Devastation. That's a very good card. I really like that at the last FNM that I played. Gets rid of basically all the board, including Planeswalker, but like conveniently doesn't hit Torrential Gearhulk and doesn't hit Nicol Bolas, so it's very good in this deck. For the counter spells, we have 3 copies of Censor. That is very good at the early game, and after you can cycle, but don't cycle it at turn 2 or 3, because it's still good in the mid game. Also, you can counter 4 converted mana costs like Gideon or Abyssin or cards like that. One match that I had, I countered even a Thraben Spectre because they were tapped out. So the opponent or the players, they try to curve out. So eventually they're gonna be tapping out. So it's why Censor is so good. And they have to play around Censor. That's the best advantage of the card. 2 copies of Negate to protect our win conditions. 2 copies of Disallow. I'm running 2 copies of Disallow to give more space for Supreme Will. That I'm cutting Anticipate and 1 Disallow copy to get 2 Supreme Wills. And this card impressed me a lot because paying 3 is a lot. Eventually you're gonna counter the spell. And sometimes you are like turn 5, you're all untapped, the opponent doesn't want to cast something, that thinking that you have a counter, and they don't do anything, they just pass a turn and you don't have Glimmer or whatever. So Supreme Will is very good in that situations, that you can dig through answers or for answers. We have 3 copies of Glimmer of Genius. It's a very powerful card. Scry 2 and draw 2 is very interesting, and you still get 2 energy that interacts with Harness Lightning. And 1 copy of Pull from Tomorrow that is very good when you cast it late game. So that's the main board. I'm very happy with this. First time that I play it, I went 4-all. So for the mana base, we tested the different options, and this one was the most successful one. It goes with 4 copies of Spirebluff Canal, 4 copies of Smoldering Marsh, 4 copies of Sunken Hollow, 3 copies of Choked Estuary, 1 copy of Foreboding Ruins, 1 copy of Wandering Fumarole, 3 islands, 2 mountains, 3 swamps, and 1 Evolving Wilds, basically for shuffling strategy and also fixing your mana when you're needed. We thought about that because we decided to put more basics. So Smoldering Marsh and Sunken Hollow, they're gonna come untapped. And with that many swamps, islands, and mountains, Choked Estuary and Foreboding Ruins, probably they're gonna also come untapped. Spirebluff Canal comes untapped at the early game, so basically the only card that does not come untapped is Wandering Fumarole, but having a main-laned late game is really good. And that's it for the mana base. For a sideboard, we have 2 copies of Labor the Heart. I'm running that over Transgress the Mind because it hits small creatures like Green Flayer, the snakes, and what Transgress the Mind doesn't do. But also hit big things, not legendary ones, but big things like Gideon and other planeswalkers, Torrential Gearhulk, whatever. we're running 2 copies of Abrade. Gives us versatility of dealing 3 damage to creature, but also destroying target artifact, like Ocatra's Monument, the Gearhulks, and we're running 2 copies of Jace's Defeat. I'm running that over Dispel. Dispel, we usually side in against counter magic, and Jace's Defeat does the work also, because you can counter a counter spell that usually is blue, but also you can hit Torrential Gearhulk, you can hit Fevered Visions, you can hit Spell Queller, they're all blue. So I really like the versatility of this card. Is broader than you would think that would be. 1 copy of Negate to help to protect our stuff and against controls and Planeswalkers reach deck. 2 the Slaughter against hexproof creatures and indestructible creatures. Another copy of Never to Return. 1 copy of Bontu's Last Reckoning, because sometimes Sweltering Suns is not enough. Creatures are too big, or maybe too fast. So that's very handy. And against aggro, we also have Kalitas, Traitor of Ghet, probably replacing the 2 copies of the Scarab God main board. And Goblin Dark-Dwellers is very tricky against control and mid-range, because you can recast Harness Lighting, you can recast Fatal Push, you can recast Labor the Heart. That is a very good hit with it. We have another Hour of Devastation as a bigger Wrath that can get rid of more creatures and Planeswalkers. And 1 copy of Sphinx of the Final War, that is a nightmare against another control decks. We appreciate for watching our first deck, and do not forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Planeswalkers!